Hi all, good evening. Am I audible? Audible? Please confirm in the chat box. Okay. So warm welcome to each and everyone who joined this masterclass. So myself, Adin Sheila from Allprotrainings is presenting this masterclass to you people. So today we have a masterclass on Selenium. So before we get into the webinar, let's have a look about Allprotrainings. So we are providing all kinds of training, especially in the IT technologies, electrical, electronics, and soft skills. In the IT technology itself, we are providing training on more than top 100 technologies all over the world. Telling about our achievements, we have already trained more than 10,000 students, especially in the USA, European countries, and all over India, in which most of the students are placed in various MNCs with excellent packages. In addition to individual training, we are also providing training for corporates as well as college trainings. So we are providing 3 types of training. The first one is the master class you are attending now. The second one is the flash course, which will come for either 5 to 10 hours. The final one is the full course, which will become for more than 30 hours. So now we are going to see about today's webinar agenda. The first one is participants introduction, which is for 10 minutes. Then the masterclass content is for 45 minutes, in which the trainer will exclusively explain all the topics. Then 20 minutes, it's the exclusive session to ask your queries regarding the masterclass topics. Then the APT students guide will be for 5 minutes. And after that, the APT offers session for the participants who joined the masterclass today. And then which is followed by the feedback session for 5 minutes, in which we will share the feedback form link. You should attend the masterclass fully and fill the feedback form completely to get the certificate. The certificate will be sent to your email ID that you give in the feedback form within a week. So provide correct email ID in the feedback form. The feedback form link will be shared at the end of the session. Okay, so now participants, you can introduce yourself in the chat box, which includes your name, profession, whether you are a student or working professional, and your expectations in this masterclass. So it will be easy for the trainer to go through the session. So please introduce yourself, mentioning your name, whether you are a student or working professional. Please introduce yourself in the chat box. Hi, Sridhar. Hey, Rakesh. Hi Sham, hi Nandini, hi Naveen. Hi Rakesh. Hi Devansh Sharma. Hi Mishra. Hi Rahul. Hi Prakash. Hi Chandra. Hi Vishnu. Hi Ramakrishna. So welcome once again. Welcome you all. Hi Anish. So today we have both the students as well as working professionals in this session. And today we have Mr. Rahul, who is the well-experienced trainer. Hi Naveen. Well-experienced trainer. He already giving training to our students. Many of his students are placed in MNCs. So he will be presenting the webinar to you today. Over to you, Mr. Rahul.
Yeah, thanks for the opportunity. So, hi everyone, this is Rahul. I'm working for MNC with respect to Selenium test automation and I'm part of various framework designing, script preparation. I was part of consulting also and for different organizations or persons who want to grow themselves in the field of automation. So, before I start discussing about automation, so I want people in the house to give their views about automation. What is automation according to you, and the reasons why we prefer Selenium? Any views or opinions on this from your end? First of all, I'm audible to you all.
Yeah, you are audible.
Yeah. Since no one is responding, I feel like I'm audible or not.
Please, participants, give your views in the chat box.
So, any idea about automation? What is it about? Why it is so much in demand in the market? First of all, I need to know how many working professionals do we have, or how many students we have, as a host said, because based on that we can drive the session accordingly. How many students are there? How many professionals are there? Working professionals, so that we can ensure that our master class will be a generic one for all the people. Okay. For a completely a beginner means, are you a student or a working professional? Okay. How about others? How about others? Are they working professional or students? I need some response, guys, because if there is no interaction, then I'll not get to know what is your stream, what is your background, and what are your thoughts behind the learning Selenium automation. So is my screen visible, first of all?
Yeah, it's visible.
So this is, first of all, what is test automation? Before we discuss something about test automation, what is testing? What is testing? My first question is, let us start from there. What is testing? Testing is a team. In layman words, we can say it's a team. But in reality, the best example that I would like to give you is, So hopefully all are from a engineering, all are from a college background. So what happens? We write our exams and we submit our answer sheets to the invigilator. What happens next? The exam purpose of exam is to test your knowledge. So once you have written your answers, what will happen? Then the invigilators collect your answer sheets, distribute among the respective faculty who will correct the paper. During the correction of the paper, they evaluate your answers based on the questions that you are given. So the process of evaluation basically is called as testing in IT terms. So we evaluate the application that is built. We find whether the functionality is working properly or not. We find out if there are any bugs or not. If there are any bugs found, then we ensure that it is being fixed by the development team. Development team is the person who develops the application, who designs the code. Like in layman terms, in the given example, what I would like to say, the students are the people who are developers. That means they are the ones who write the answers. Teachers are the persons who are from testing. That means they'll be evaluating our answer sheet, and based on that, you'll be rewarded or awarded with the marks. So that is the basic intention and idea about testing. So in testing, what we do, testing, we 1 minute. In testing, we understand the application requirements based on the documents that we receive from business analysts. Business analysts are the one who gathers the requirement for us from the customers. Business analyst, user stories. User stories are something that once the business analysts collect the requirements, instead of directly interacting with us, they will write a form of a user story. Story is nothing but what? So story is nothing but what? Basically, if you want to discuss about a particular requirement, you might not understand the requirement directly or indirectly. So basically what happens, they will explain all the requirements in the form of a story, like a form of a movie story, so that it is easy for everyone to understand. So once we understand the requirements, then we write the test cases and test scenarios to perform sanity, smoke, and regression. So what is sanity, smoke, and regression? For the people who was hearing the word testing, this terminology for the first time, sanity testing is the testing that we do right after the application is given to you. If the application is given to you with a new software or new code, then what we do, we perform a sanity testing. What do you mean by that? We check whether the application is loading properly or not, whether the links are working properly or not, whether we are able to navigate from one page to other page or not. We are checking whether the fields are we are able to click or enter into the fields. Smoke is something that we check the functionality of the application on an overall basis. Regression means we do some end-to-end testing. We do all kinds of testing, like positive, negative, end-to boundary value analysis, equivalence testing, etc., etc. We do all kinds of testing in regression testing. So we write the test cases for different activities that we need to perform. So here we are all doing all these things manually. Now, where does this automation come into picture? Why automation comes into picture? Why it is the most in-demand subject in the market? So basically, for that, let us jump into our PPT slide. Why automation, why testing, and all the stuff, why manual and all the stuff. So basically, hope everyone has got a basic idea of what is testing before I jump into test automation. Hope you got a basic idea and gist of what is testing. If any doubts with respect to testing, please ping it in the chat box. Else I'll go further. Okay, that's no problem. So basically, why automation testing is important. Now we have discussed the manual testing concepts a bit. Now, why automation testing is important. Suppose you have to do a sanity testing round the year manually. It is highly impossible task. Why? Because the main reason is you would like to test your application manually for 2 or 3 times because it is interesting. You want to know more of your application, etc., etc. But you want to do it round the clock, then it is very difficult for us because sometimes what happens, you will have nightly builds, nightly deployments of the application of the code. So in that case, the persons will not be available to test the code properly, test the application. So in that case, automation testing is very much important. And second thing is that if you want to test the application in 12 different or more than 10 environments or supposedly multiple environments, then it is very difficult for a human to test it in all the environments in different lab machines or virtual machines. In that case, automation is pretty much important. And there are several more reasons why automation testing is important and why companies, organizations, or even some individuals are planning to invest their time into automation. This is the main reason. It saves a lot of time, energy, and money. How, what, we will go then discuss in depth. So this pictorial representation gives you a clear idea of how will be the life of a manual tester and versus automation tester when the project approaches go live. Go live means we are handing over our code to the customer. So in that situation, the life of a manual tester becomes very much tedious because he needs to go through a lot of Excels, a lot of test cases, a lot of data, a lot of test cycle closures. He has to ensure that every test cycle closure that we are given is working properly or not, yes or no, blah, 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 and all the stuff. Whereas for an automated test engineer, he can do a lot of multiple tasking. The reports that will be generated automatically for him. He has the complete story for each and every release in his repository, in his dashboards, in his database. So these are the kinds of activity that automation tester can also do. So basically, manual versus automation. If you are doing automation right from the start of the project, then the life of both manual and automation tester will be like this, the same like this. He'll be chilling around. He'll be having a lot of fun, etc., etc., etc. So what are the advantages of automation testing? Reliability. Test cases perform the same operations every time they are run, thereby eliminating human error. That means what? Suppose in your application you have to do a payment with different modes. Sometimes what happens, instead of a credit card payment, you might do a cash payment. So which is a wrong testing scenario. Like you might do the testing accurately for first 5 times or 6 times, but later you tend to do some errors. So in this kind of situations, you might have to retest the application again and again since you are passing the wrong data, wrong values, etc., etc. So at this point, the automation is pretty much reliable because if you want to do 100 payments, it will do 100 payments precisely the payment type that we give. It will not make any kind of human errors. Repeatability. Since your scripts are reliable, if you can perform the same operations each and every time, then you can repeat them for n number of times, whatever you want. Okay. Once your scripts are reliable and you can execute for n number of times, then what happens? You can build a suite of test cases that covers every feature in your application. That means what? If you are able to automate each and every feature of your present in your application, then it makes the life of a manual tester or life of a company pretty much easier because within a button click, the test cases will be executed, which helps us in covering each and every hook and corner of the application. That is called as comprehensiveness. So if you can run more test cases in less amount of time and it finds defects quickly, then you are going to build a better quality software when you're working with lesser team sizes. But the lesser the team size, the lesser the cost. In the cost reduction part, result of reduced team size relies by productive gain. That means what? If you are able to create a better quality software, if you are able to test the software and deliver a better quality software within a reduced team size, then obviously the cost will be reduced. How the cost will be reduced? Suppose in a project, definitely you need around 15 manual testers for an application to be tested. So 15 manual testers means on an average, their salary per annum is 6 lakhs. That means what? You are investing around 90 lakhs per year on the testing team, no matter how many years the project life cycle runs. So which is sometimes a huge amount for any company, because these days companies are willing to invest in their amount in development and R&D, but they're not much interested in investing in testing field. They have their own reasons saying like testing is easy, even a child can do, but actually in reality, if you see the successful MNCs or successful companies, they also invest their amount equally in testing also, because if you invest the amount equally in testing, then you are going to deliver a bug-free product. That is the main intention of the tech giants, the MNCs. That is why they invest so much into testing. So coming to the point, if startups and all these companies, they cannot afford that much budgets to testing. So what they do, they hire 2 quality automation engineers worth 20 lakhs of each. The starting package of each automation engineer is 20 lakhs. So what do they do? Two automation engineers who are worth of it, they'll pay 20 lakhs. That means what is the combined amount? 40 lakhs. Then you can have 3 more manual testers. That means what? 3 into 6 lakhs. That is 18 lakhs. So total 58 lakhs will be spent on the testing instead of 90 lakhs. So amount of 42 lakhs will be saved on testing. So this is how a calculation happens. If you want, I'll just show it once again. I'll just repeat the point once again. Generally, for a project, we have around 15 manual testers. Considering average package is 6L, total amount spent per year on testing team is 90 lakhs. Suppose you hire 2 quality automation engineers of 20 lakhs each. That means 40 lakhs will be incurred on the company. Have 3 more manual testers to understand the application. That means 18 lakhs. Total 58 lakhs will be spent. That means we are saving around 32 lakhs on the testing team. So this is the main reason why companies go for automation. Why people hire automation engineers, why they hire testers who have some knowledge of automation, because this is the cost reduction that they see. This is how they calculate. This is how the service delivery team calculates. People mostly will have a wrong opinion that your salaries will be provided by the HR or the finance team. No, each and every project has a service delivery team. So they will decide the budgets, and they will decide based on the budgets that they get from the client, they will decide how many resources should be there, what kind of resources should be there, what kind of resources do we need to acquire from outside, etc., in order to save some money. Clear? So this is the main thing about cost reduction. So for speed, automation tools run significantly faster than the manual process. That means what? If you see a Selenium script, it executes so fastly that it finishes your execution within a blink of an eye. It will not stop anywhere, or it will not be stuck anywhere. It runs so quick, like it runs faster than Usain Bolt. Trust me. So programmability. You can, by generally automation, people think like, okay, it's a zero coding process and all. But trust me, if you are able to start programming your scripts, you can bring out a lot of hidden information from the application. The hidden information be like based on the HTML attributes, the application is behaving differently, or there's some behavior that application is behaving differently without any cache, with cache. These kind of testings can be brought up with the help of some good programming knowledge. So once your test cases are reliable, repeatable, and they are so robust and quality oriented, then you can reuse the same scripts in different releases, different environments, and different places. Even if the UI interface also changes, then you can run the script there and identify the issues, and you can fix them accordingly. So these are the main reasons that we do automation testing. These are the main advantages when it comes to automation testing. So in addition to the above points, the more number of cases you automate, you are increasing the test coverage. How it is possible? Because if you automate the test, if you automate most of the test cases, then manual team will try to increase the scope of the testing. What do you mean by to increase the scope of the testing? They will find more scenarios. They will find more border scenarios. They will see more what more of boundary scenarios can be covered, how can we break the application, how many more negative testing can be done so that we can increase the coverage. And the more the coverage, the less number of defects can be found in UAT is a customer environment where the customer tests it before going go live. And effective test management means what enables the test cases to be traced, updated and reused in the future to cover and execute when there are similar requirements of functionality. So accuracy, the more robust are your automation scripts, it executes with a greater precision and lesser errors than manual testing. As I discussed about resource optimization, just now given a statistics of how many manual testers, automation testers, and apart from the cost effective, if an automation script is built in live, then no matter how many builds are given by the deployment team, the moment the build is deployed, we can always create a cycle to execute an automation script. So this is in short about the advantages of automation testing. So if you can see this graph, these are some statistics. What are the statistics depict about manual versus automation test execution efforts? So on a scale of 15 cases, if a person does a smoke manually, it'll take 2 hours for him to finish. Whereas if the automation suite is perfectly built, then it will take 2 by 10 into 60. It will take 12 minutes to finish the execution. So if you have a sanity of 50 cases, then it takes 1 day. 8 hours means it's 1 day for an employee. So 8 hours to execute a sanity suit, whereas it takes around 8 by 12, 8 by 10 into 60. It takes 48 minutes for an automation tester to finish a sanity suit of 50 cases. If you're having a partial regression suit to be run of 250 cases, then it takes 40 hours. What do you mean by 40 hours? It takes 5 working days of 5 working days of testing team. Whereas if you have an automation suite into picture, it executes in 4 hours. That is half a day. So if you have a full regression suite of 1000 cases, then it will take 160 hours for a whole manual team to finish. 160 hours means what? Almost 20 days. Considering a single person is working on a project, assuming that. Now, if an automation suite is properly built, then you'll have to spend 16 hours to execute 1000 cases. That means what? 2 working days. So these are the stats that are built on a generic basis. These stats are nothing to point out a particular person or a particular organization or particular firm. These are the generalized statistics that we have gathered from different applications or life cycles as per my experience. Okay, there is no intention to hurt anyone with these numbers. So before you kickstart your career into automation, we want to learn or remember 5 things. Never ever automate a mess. That means what? Whatever the kind of automation you are doing, please be clear of what you are planning to do. Don't automate it because it's fun to do. Automate it because it is necessary. It is essential for for our application to be buffer-free. Avoid complex logic in your scripts. Whatever the logic you're writing in your scripts, you always have to ensure that it is good enough, it is understandable, readable, etc. Third thing, do not mandate 100% automation. Always remember that 100% automation is never ever possible. Suppose if you are so skilled, so well, having that well-depth knowledge about the automation, then you can automate at the max 80 to 85% of the application. But it is highly impossible to automate 100%. This is the one I'm trying since past couple of years to automate 100%. That is not happening, no matter what. So if you want to become an automation engineer, you need to be aware of the basic concepts of testing. And if you don't understand the testing concepts and ideas, then you cannot do any automation, because test automation is just a helping tool for the complete organization that helps us in making their life easier. In order to become a test automation engineer, you need to know what are the basic ideas of testing, what is a bug, what is a defect, what is a test case, how do we read a test case, how do we understand a story. These are all things you need to know. So another thing you need to remember is test automation is a software development process. So since it is a software development process, generally we have peer reviews and all this stuff. But in test automation, we will not have any peer reviews, and I mean, we have only peer reviews, but no one will test our code. The code that we write, we will test ourselves in test automation. For developers, we have a testing team to validate their code and check whether it is working properly or not. If the like observe like my company or some other companies, if they're really invested into automation, what do? The scripts that we prepare, we generate some reports, right? So we will share the reports to the manual team, so for evaluation process. So once the manual team says a go ahead on this application, on this on the basis of this report, then we say like the particular case is automated. If the reports are not matching as per their expectation, then we have to re-automate the case as per their expectations. That is how a review process happens within the testing team, if the companies are really invested in test automation. So as I've told you, this is the cumulative cost graph when it comes to manual testing versus automation testing. So initially the cost spent on manual testing is pretty much less for the initial couple of bills. But as the product approaches go live, that means we have to handle over the bill to the customer. Then subsequently we'll tend to add more number of people in the testing department from different teams into the testing department to ensure that the product is bug free or something like that. So that is why if you see the cost keeps on increasing gradually. Okay. That is why the cost keeps on increasing gradually when you're doing manual testing. Similarly, if you put the same amount of, I mean, if you put some same minimal cost onto automation, initially you feel like it's a financial burden to the project. But once the bills progress, once the project approaches go live, then the cost spent on automation remains the same across the bills. Here and there, it remains the same across the bills. But there will be a lot of saving if you put automation into picture along with manual testing. A lot of amounts can be saved. So this is just a sheet that we got it from a service delivery manager, how we evaluates the effort spent on manual testing and the effort spent on automation testing, and how we decides how many automation testers we need, what we need to do, and all this stuff. So I would like to give you a couple of minutes to go through this sheet so that you'll understand what is what and all the stuff. If you have any doubts, you can ping in the chat box. I'll listen. I mean, I'll try to answer them. Okay. So any doubts, anything with respect to this sheet or the graph? You can ping it in, you can ping in the chat box so that I'll understand what is what and all about. So before we go into this slide, there is one question always that is being discussed in the market. Why Selenium? And why most of the companies are using this? This is the question that we always receive from the market. Why? Why only Selenium? Why? Because the reason why Selenium and all the stuff is there are a lot of tools for automation in the market, like QTP, RPA, Tosca, and Cypress, test case studio, etc. I mean UFT also. We can include UFT also. QTP, RPA, UFT are paid tools. Not all companies can afford the licenses of this tool. Okay. QTP, RPA, UFT are paid tools. Not all companies can afford the licenses of this tool. Cypress and Test Case Studio are open source tools. That means we need not pay anything for the tools. But still, why Selenium holds an edge? Cypress is the tool that supports only JS. JS means JavaScript and Visual Studio. So there are a lot of disadvantages to Cypress tool, as it is the upcoming tool, only supports JavaScript and Visual Studio. So that is one reason. And second thing is that the locators that we find is mostly from Selenium based locators only, but not all kinds of locators are supported on Cypress tool. Whereas Test Case Studio is more of a record and playback tool. Okay, so why Selenium holds a hedge? This is where Selenium holds a hedge, because Selenium is an open source, as we have told. Selenium is supported by different programming languages: Java, C#, Python, Ruby, Perl, JavaScript, etc. Selenium scripts can be executed on different browsers: Chrome, Firefox, IE, Edge, Opera, Safari, etc. Whereas Cypress supports only Chrome and recently Firefox. Okay. Selenium uses less hardware. Selenium is a flexible tool. That means what? You can mend the tool according to your requirements and analysis. Selenium is a flexible tool, uses less hardware. Selenium supports us to do cross-browser testing. What is cross-browser testing? Suppose if you want to test the same application in different browsers, that is called as cross-browser testing. So that is the main reason why Selenium scripts can be executed on different browsers. If you are able to execute your scripts on different browsers, then you are able to do some cross-browser testing also. Selenium supports parallel testing too. That means what? What do you mean by parallel testing? Suppose generally what we do in testing, we execute one test case after the another test case. So what happens in that one test case after another test case? So the time spent on each and every test case is supposedly 10 minutes. So 10 test cases into 10 minutes, that means we are spending 100 minutes on for 10 test cases. Sometimes it sounds odd. Now what we can do with the help of Selenium that supports parallel testing, suppose you want to finish your 10 test cases quickly, what we can do is what we can do with the help of parallel testing, we can execute 5 different test cases at a time. So if it takes 10 minutes to execute 5 different test cases, then what happens? It will take 20 minutes to finish the 10 test cases execution. So what is the time that you have saved? 80 minutes. So this kind of parallel testing is being supported by Selenium. What is more, let me go in depth about parallel testing. So parallel testing means what? If you want to execute 5 different cases in 5 different Chrome browsers, then that is called as parallel testing. Okay. Okay. These are the main advantages of Selenium. Main advantages why people prefer Selenium. Less hardware users, supposed to do cross-process testing, flexible tool, etc., etc., etc. Any doubts with respect to this? Similarly, there's a saying in English that every coin has two sides. So you have seen the pros of Selenium. Now let us see the cons of Selenium. Selenium cannot extend the support to Windows-based applications. That means Selenium only supports web-based applications, not mobile-based or Windows-based applications. So it does not have any inbuilt reporting feature. It does not help in automating captchas, barcodes, fingerprints, or etc. Because the why Selenium should not automate any barcode captchas and all those stuff, because those are meant to differentiate whether the application is being logged in by a bot or a human. If you are able to automate your captchas, then the captcha that is built by the development team is poor enough. Okay. And Selenium also does not perform any image processing, like fetching the text from the image. These kind of processes cannot be done by Selenium. So if you are able to do it, that is the main difference between bot and a human. Okay. Now, Selenium users, since the tool is open source, you will not have any paid support, something like that. Since Selenium is an open source tool, you will not have any dedicated team for support. If you face any issue with respect to the tool, then you have to find out the answers by yourself. So there are a lot of firms, lot of articles, lot of pages like Stack Overflow, etc., where you get most of the answers with respect to Selenium. So it does not have an internal reporting. So that is why we rely on the other frameworks like TestNG, Cucumber, and JUnit for reporting mechanisms. So the main disadvantage of Selenium is you need to know some programming language in order to work with the Selenium tool. So the new features that are introduced by Selenium will not work as expected. That is why whenever we work on Selenium, we always take a version lesser. We always take 1 or 2 versions back. We don't take the latest version all the time. So Selenium does not support automation testing of video and audio. So video and audio is something where humans can listen and can visualize and can understand, whereas a bot cannot understand or cannot visualize all those things. So these are the disadvantages when it comes to Selenium. So coming to Selenium suite, what are the different tools that are present under the Selenium suite? Selenium IDE, Selenium RC, Selenium WebDriver, Selenium Grid. So Selenium WebDriver is the current tool that is into the market. Selenium IDE is the first tool that is being introduced in the market. Selenium RC is the upgrade of Selenium IDE. From Selenium RC, Selenium WebDriver has emerged, and Selenium Grid is a separate tool that helps us in executing our cases in a distributed network or an environment. So what is Selenium IDE? Selenium IDE is basically a record and playback tool. Selenium IDE is a 1 minute. Selenium IDE is a record and playback tool. That means what? Whenever you see any movies where the singers record their songs and they record their songs and they play back again and again to check whether the song is recorded properly or not. Okay. So similarly, in this situation, Selenium IDE is basically a record and playback tool. So what does it do by default? Selenium IDE. I'll show you one second. So Selenium IDE is the extension. If you can see the So if you can see, there's the extensions plugin here. So already I've installed Selenium IDE in my tool. So what I will do, I'll click on these extensions. I'll click on Selenium IDE. I'll say like I'll record a test in a new project. Then I will put the project name as like supposedly ClickBus. So I will have to give the application URL. One sec. So I will click on start recording. What happens? Whatever the activities that you want to perform, it will click here. Now I'll have to view this scorecard. Now I'll click on this scorecard. I will scroll down. I'll scroll up. I'll click on full commentary. Then I'll click on points table. After I perform all these operations, then I'll click on stop recording. Once you stop the recording, it'll ask us to enter a test case name. So I'll write test 1. So once I write test 1, then what happens? You are able to see this play button, right? So once you click on this play button, it repeats the actions that we have recorded so far. Okay. Suppose if you want to execute your application, you want your executions to be happening at a slower rate, then I'll reduce the speed of the execution. Then I'll run it again. So that is how the execution speed happens. So it has an inbuilt logging mechanism. So to indicate what is what and all the stuff. So this is in short about Selenium IDE. Now, what are the since you have seen Selenium IDE, what are the pros and cons of it? So it is very easy to install and use. No programming knowledge is required. Why? Because you are simply recording and playing the same application again and again. So no programming knowledge experience is required, though you need the basic idea of HTML and DOM. can export the test cases formats to reusable in Selenium RC and WebDriver, has built-in help and test results module, provides supports for extensions. So the disadvantages is like till 2018, the Selenium ID was supported only in Firefox. Now we are also using Selenium ID in Chrome. So what happens? Another disadvantage is that you cannot perform any iteration or conditional operations. Test execution is slow compared to Selenium RC and WebDriver. So designed only to create prototype of tests. Okay, designed only to create prototype of tests. Prototypes of test means suppose a customer requests a demo of how the application testing is happening, what are the flows and all. He wants an explanation. So what happens? We cannot. Sometimes we don't want to do it manually. Sometimes we want it like, okay, I want to record them and I want to show it them. Okay. So we record them, we show them. We record them, we show them, we help them analyze that. Okay, this is our record and playback tool with the help of Selenium. So sometimes the clients will be impressed and they'll understand like, okay, they're doing something great. So that is the main advantage. So that is the main advantages and disadvantages of Selenium ID. So what about Selenium WebDriver? How it happens? So let me show you the execution. Let me see if I have something with me. So basically, this is a small runner file related to Cucumber. So once you join the course, you'll understand what is this all about. So basically, we are using some Selenium WebDriver and all the stuff. So I'll right click, run as test-ng test. So it has performed some actions, it will print on the console. So once it has performed some actions, what does it do? I'll click on refresh. Then there will be some reports generated. So these are the reports that is being generated. As I've told you, Selenium does not have any inbuilt reporting mechanism. Whatever reports are generated, that we are using with the third-party plugins. The screenshots that is being captured. And these are the screenshots folder that we have. Hope everyone is clear with what you have discussed so far. Any doubts, anything so far? Sheila, I'm done, I guess.
Okay. So guys, if you have any doubts, please ask in the chat box. Any queries? So any queries, please ask in the chat box. Okay, so I hope the session went well for you. So thank you so much, sir, for this amazing session. It is quite interesting and all the topics are covered very clear and useful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. So now I am sharing the feedback video of one of our student, Aishwarya. She was guided and trained by Mr. Rahul. So please go to the feedback.
Hi guys, I'm Aishwarya from Chennai and I'm working in testing background. I'm a manual tester come automation tester. As I needed some help with automation training, I reached out to IRPA from AP Trainings. So he suggested me to take up the Selenium Java course and I got a very good guidance from AP training from Rahul and Ayyappan from AP, and currently I have got an offer with a 120% hike, and I definitely got the confidence and courage to switch to another company only after completing this training. And I would definitely suggest you guys to get into AP trainings and get yourself moved to a better career. Yeah, thank you.
And now I am sharing the feedback from our students who placed in various MNCs who have given their feedback through WhatsApp and the Google Business. This is the feedback from Aishwarya. So she was guided by Mr. Rahul and she got 120% hike. And this is the feedback from our student Mohana Priya. She told this class helped her to improve her skills. And this is feedback from our Blue Prism student, Pranita Khan. She told the trainer is very professional and refer AllPro trainings to others. And another feedback from our another student, Munitha Reddy, who took UiPath training. He says the way of teaching is excellent. Then there's the review from our student Vijay, who took SQLDBA. And this is the feedback from our USA student Parveen Banu. They told a Blue Prism student after taking training from AP trainings, she switched her career from teaching to IT field. She told she felt 100% worth for the money she paid. So, and the next, this is the review from another student, Surya, who learned SQL from Allprotrainings, also placed a very good package. And this is the feedback from a non-IT student, Anis, who took Blue Prism course and got placed in IT field. So these are the reviews and feedback we got from our students. So now I'm sharing the students guide. So how we will be giving training to our students once you join AllPro trainings. So we are following 5 forces: simple learning methodology, students recall, creative explanation, fingertip materials, and additional bonuses. In the simple teaching methodology, the first, once the students join the course, every day we'll be having the class for 75 minutes. In which we have divided the 75 minutes into 6 sessions. The first session is for 10 minutes, in which you people can ask the previous day class queries to the trainer. And the second session is for 20 minutes, in which the trainer will take set of topics for that day. The next session is for 15 minutes, in which you people have to practice in front of the trainer. And in the fourth session, the trainer will take the next set of topics for 15 minutes, and which is followed by the fifth session, which you can again practice for 10 minutes. And in the final session, you can recall all the topics they learned on that day for 5 minutes. So it will be around 75 minutes. And they will be following the learning premise. The learning premise shows that if you are able to accurately and correctly teach a subject to others, you will have a very good mastery of the concepts. Our students are well trained to this level. Next is creative explanation. We have different types of kinds of learnings, e-learning, e-coaching, collab learning, and virtual classroom. Nowadays, you can get everything on the internet, but you don't know exactly what will help you to find a job. So our training is structured in a way that the trainer will guide you to select what you exactly needed. It will be like a virtual classroom. You can clear all your queries directly with the trainer. So we'll be sharing all the day-wise notes in OneNotes, and we'll be following the mind mapping technology, and all class notes with the pictures, diagrammatic explanation, and training notes in a single book will be provided. Next is fingertip materials. From day 1 to till end of the course, all live classes will be recorded, and the required software will also be provided in the shared drive. So you will get live courses as well as the recordings of the same for future references. And so what are the additional bonuses you'll be getting if you join Allprotrainings is we'll be arranging for free interview sessions. I'll provide lifelong community support. We'll provide job links. We'll be helping you in preparing resumes. All that we will be guiding you to get the professional certifications, and we will provide LinkedIn recommendations. And now we are going to see the offer session. Okay. So we have three types of, as I said earlier, we have three types of training. One is the master class you are attending. There's the flash course. Second one is the flash course, which should be for around 5 to 10 hours. It will depends upon the technology. And third is the full course. It will be around 35 to 40 hours. So all our classes will be done through Skype or Zoom. So all of you know the market price of Selenium nowadays. So market price for Selenium is around 25K to 30K. And for the full course, and for the flash course, it will be around 6K to 8K. So can you guess what will be Allprotrainings price? Any guesses what will be the Allprotrainings price? So we won't charge it that much. So Allprotrainings price is, for the full course, it will be 20K, and the flash course, it will be 2K. So Allprotrainings price for Selenium full course is 20K, and the flash course is 2K. And for those people who have joined the session today, we have a special offer for you people. For those people who have joined the session today, we will be providing a full course at 14K and the flash course at 999. So it is a 15 minutes offer only for those people who have joined the session today. We will be providing the Selenium full course at 14K and the flash course at 999. Kindly make use of it. So now I am sharing the feedback form link in the chat box. So please fill the feedback form link to get the e-certificates. I've shared the feedback form link in the chat box. Please fill the feedback form correctly with the correct mail ID. Then only you can receive the e-certificate. Can anyone confirm the chat box whether you have received the feedback form link? Okay. So kindly make use of this offer. The full course is just 14K and the flash course is just 999. And the special advantages of joining Allprotrainings is you can clear any queries with the trainer at any time. Trainings will be conducted at your preferred time on weekdays or a weekend morning or evening. It can be conducted at your preferred time, your convenient time. We will be providing all class recordings, and the daily class notes and documents will also be shared in the drive. So why you need to take a course? So if you are fresher, your salary pack will be 2.5 lakhs per annum. But if you update yourself with the current or recent technologies, surely you will get 5 lakhs per annum. A small amount you spend can give a big change in your career. So it won't be wasted. So I'm sharing the payment link now. There is a payment link. If you can't make a full payment immediately, you can make a token payment of ₹1,000 and book your course. Once you make the payment, share the screenshot in our WhatsApp number. So please fill the feedback form, then only you can receive your e-certificate. So the exclusive offer is only for those participants who have joined the masterclass today. The Selenium full course fee is just 14K and the flash course fee is just 999. Kindly make use of this offer. This is only for 15 minutes. So it will end in another 10 minutes. So if you are in a non-IT field, so if you want to shift your career to IT field, you can choose Selenium. So now the demand for Selenium is increasing in the industry. So boost your career towards high ranking success by taking this course with Allprotrainings. So classes can be conducted at your preferred timing. We have weekdays class as well as weekend classes also. So all your live classes will be recorded and it will be shared in the drive. So you can make use of the recordings for your future references also. All of our trainers are certified trainers, well experienced working professionals. So they will guide you. It's not just theoretical, it's a real-time hands-on practical training. So if you can't make the full payment today, you can reserve your seat by paying a token amount of 1,000 rupees. So once you make payment, please share the payment screenshot to our WhatsApp number. Yes, I have shared the feedback form link again. I have shared the feedback form link again. Kindly provide correct email ID. Want to know much more about flash course as well as full course. So we have shared our contact number, WhatsApp number. Kindly WhatsApp to this number. We will share you the full course and flash course details. So don't miss this offer. The trainer Rahul, he is a very good trainer. He trained many students. They're all well placed with excellent packages. Kindly make use of this offer. The offer ends in another 5 minutes. Kindly fill the feedback form. So once you fill the feedback form, we can end the session. The 15 minutes offer ends in 5 minutes. And so future scope of Selenium is very bright. So kindly make use of this offer. So I hope you would have filled the feedback form. So if you have any queries, you can contact us at any time. So thank you so much for your wonderful participation. We are ending the session now. Thank you so much.